Hello, 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 and welcome to the Coronacast comedy show. Here with me, Deniso Chaponda. This is your first time tuning in. This is a show where I, a stand-up comedian with, let's say, a much smaller audience because of the coronavirus, instead entertains you, people of the internet, people of Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, wherever you have come, wherever you're watching from. You are entirely welcome. This is a show which is a mixture of stand-up comedy, a little bit of chit-chat, halfway between talk show and stand-up comedy show with Malawi's greatest export, Delisa Chabana. Okay. Maybe tobacco followed by macadamia nuts, fish, then me. Okay. Malawi's fourth most exemplary, astonishing export. Welcome to the show. Today's episode is about fraud. Fraud. We're going to be talking about fraud. We're going to be talking about ways people are frauded, times people have been defrauded. If you've been the victim of fraud, this is the episode for you. Now, before we get started, I'm going to start by showing you a little video clip of some old school fraud, ladies and gentlemen. Old school fraud. So, oh, there's cracking with my sound on Facebook. Okay, good to know. It's probably because of the video. So let me play the video, and then after the video, I think we'll be back to normal. Did that sort it out? Sorry for the technical issues. Watch this video, and then we'll get started on the show. Did you see that? Did you catch that, ladies and gentlemen? I hope my sound is good. I hope you were able to catch that, because that is the old school version of fraud. That there is some old school pickpocketing. Old school pickpocketing as people are dancing, grinding and twerking away. Someone reaches into your back pocket from underneath. You've got to respect the woman's skills. Grabs his wallet and runs off with his money. That there, ladies and gentlemen, is the old school kind of being frauded, being robbed. And you can almost admire it. You can almost respect the chutzpah and the daring which it takes to pickpocket someone while they are dancing and having a great time in a nightclub. And anything that, when you're tapping, it's actually quite genius, because when they are tapping on his buttocks looking for his wallet, he just thinks that they are getting fresh with him. Very clever methodology. But most of us in this day and age, oh, it's still crackling? Still crackling? Okay, hold on. I'm going to totally unplug and then re-plug the sound. Okay, we have reconnected, but I'm frozen. Testing. Okay, I think we fixed it, but now I'm frozen. I should have just stuck with the crackling, shouldn't I? Oh no! We're stuck! We're stuck! Sound crackling on YouTube. Okay. Do not disappear. I will be right back. I am just sorting this out. Do you hear me? Oh. Take two. Take two. This is the Coronacast comedy show. Take two. Let's see if anybody is here. I am back. I am back. Hello and welcome to the Coronacast comedy show. This is the second attempt at the stream. There were technical issues with the first stream. Please tell me if you hear me. Please tell me how is the sound. There was crackling beforehand. I've rebooted and changed the levels. How is the sound, Sarah? How is the sound, people who are back? You can see me and hear me. Is it clear? Is there crackling? Was the problem solved by the old school way of fixing things, of turning it off and then turning it on? Just message me if the sound is loud and clear and we will start the episode. Maybe there's a delay with me seeing people's comments. You can see me and hear me? Okay. It's gone a bit quiet. Okay, let's crank up the sound. How about now? How about now? How is the sound now? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. The crackling is still there, but it's not as bad. I have no idea how to fix the crackling, unfortunately. That may just be a symptom of the show today. Okay, but let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. So those of you hopefully caught the video which I played. I was showing you a scene from a South African nightclub, showing you a little bit of the kind of pickpocketing which can occur as you are in mid-twerk. So beware if you're twerking. Be careful when you're shaking your ass. Somebody may be robbing you. But that is not what inspired me to do an episode on fraud. I was the subject of attempted fraud, and perhaps not even me, fans of mine, people who come and watch the Coronacast often could have. Let me just tell the story. So I get a message yesterday from Jacqueline, one of my lovely frequent fans of the Coronacast, who told me that she had received a message from a fake Daliso Chaponda. Well, she was checking to see if it was the real Daliso Chaponda. And as you can see, this is a Facebook profile that looks a lot like mine, right? It looks a lot like mine, but you can see that as much as they've made some errors, okay? First of all, if you are going to scam and create a fake Daliso Chaponda, can't you spell my name right? Right? Look over there. It says D-A-L-S-I-O, Dalcio Chaponda. Dalcio Chaponda. But look, how could they make that spelling error when the correct spelling is directly underneath? I am immediately disappointed at these scam errors, okay? But then let's keep going. What was the actual scam? Let us move on and see what the message which some of you may have received in your inbox. Thank you. I like the emojis. Thank you for liking my post and following me on Facebook. This is a friendly fellow. I never have said this to anybody who follows me. Maybe I need to hire my scam artist as my social media person, because they're clearly good at audience reach out, okay? Congratulations. You were chosen as the best fan. Now already, this is where you start to realize this is not the real Daliso. All fans are equal in my eyes, okay? I don't pick a favorite child. This is not me. Right? And it says, you were chosen as the best fan who will get $5,000. $5,000. Already, this is clearly a scam. Anyone who has been watching the Coronacast just knows that I have been asking you for pennies. I have been saying become a patron on the link above and donate daily, donate like £1 a month. How would I be giving $5,000? If this person actually wanted to be realistic, they should have said that you have been chosen as a fan and Daliso is going to send you jokes, right? I'm going to send you jokes to your bank account, right? Jokes directly into your bank account. All you need to do is give me your bank account number, give me the password, and I will surprise you with jokes. There will be funny jokes, things like when you're about to make a withdrawal. I had a joke about withdrawal. A note will come out and say, condoms are a much more effective method of contraception than pulling out. Something like that. I've lost the joke, but you get the idea. If it was jokes, maybe we could believe it was actually me. But let us keep going, okay? This is this person that goes on, are you sure you will not register? This is your chance and you will lose it because you did not register. I like how aggressive he gets. This is not the real Deliso. This Deliso is not good at rejection. Jacqueline said no to him and he got hissy fit. Ladies, you should know Deliso very good at taking rejection. You just tell me no, you tell me go to hell, and I say, hey, I'll try it again another day, right? I'm good at taking rejection. This faker is not, okay? On the flip side, I will say that this person is clearly a fan, right? Because they are a scammer. But look, they have found many of my posts, okay? And they also have put my Patreon, right? So they're trying to get money, but at the same time, just in case someone has an excess of money, they have also put my Patreon so that you can give them some money, give them your bank details, but you can also donate to me. So just in case anybody was the target of this, I am not in any way affiliated with this. I am not Deliso Chaponda Gift. It's actually been taken down, but it got me thinking. It got me thinking about scammers, right? What this scam, which you have just seen, is an example of a very common scam, which is called the lottery competition scam, right? In the oldest version of it, if you go way back to like cowboy times, essentially they'll tell you that, oh, you have won the lots, you have won a lottery, and how did they get your money? But essentially it's, you've got the money, you need to give them some money, or you need to pay them something in order to get it, and then I don't understand how it works, right? I know how it works now, but apparently this is an old scam which has been going way back into time. Now, of course, it's an attempt to get your bank details, right? But it got me thinking about all the different kinds of scams, and that's what today's episode will be about. As always, please be a very responsive audience. When I tell jokes, when I discuss something, put LOLs, chat about things, ask me questions, and I'll respond in between each section. So before I get started, let me take a look at the people in the house. Okay, so Sarah Hall says, where's Pooh Bear gone and what is Panda doing? Pooh Bear is not part of the Coronacast comedy show. He briefly joined the Coronacast comedy show trying to take Panda the Pandemic's job, but did not manage to get it. And Pandemic the Panda is actually currently working on his novel, as you can see him there typing away. He's writing a book. You're a character in his book, Chelsea. I wouldn't laugh like that because
my iPad is off.
He's a panda, okay? He doesn't.
It's a fake panda.
He's not the most intelligent tool in the shed, okay? So we keep going here, and we have. Hello to Mamba, who lives in South Africa. I hope you enjoyed the footage from one of your nightclubs. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sound is good. Barely hear the crackling. All good. Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen, with the common internet scams. Okay? So, one of the very common ones. Now, I think the way which I'm going to let you understand all of these is I'm going to use my Patreon as an example. Because, as a lot of you know, anyone who's new knows, this is a show which is free, but I try to encourage people to join my Patreon, patreon.com/DelisoChaponda, and pay me a little bit of money, right, for the show. Now, these are the ways I would do it if it was a scam, okay? So, the number one scam, one of the scams, is the advance fee scam, okay? The advance fee scam is one where you pay for something, you pay for goods, you pay for a service, and it never arrives, okay? Example of this is Amazon, right? Amazon or something like that. Imagine you order something and it never arrives. More common is things like in a relationship, where somebody will imply that if you do the dishes, you may get a blowjob later. The blowjob never surfaces, okay? There are a lot of scams of this sort in relationships, right? On your birthday, I'm going to give you a good time. And then on their birthday, they are nowhere to be seen, right? These are the kind of advance fee scams which occur. And the best way to avoid it is you have to use what I call the Indiana Jones maneuver, right? Indiana Jones maneuver. So if you are trying to negotiate for something and you are not sure of getting it, what you need to do is you need to have your money over here. You need to have your money over here, and you need to have the thing which they have implied you're going to get over here, and you need to swap them instantly, right? You need to have a hold of it and swap it instantly. That is the only way to avoid the scam, which is the advanced fee scam. And if my Patreon was doing the advanced fee scam, it would say something like, join my Patreon, you will get a very funny video, and then when you tune in, there is no funny video. That would be what is called the advanced fee scam. Also, as I'm telling you these stories, if you have been targeted by a scam, if you have fallen for a scam, please put it in the chat and we will discuss it. Okay, let's keep going on to the next scams, which are possibly the most common and the only scams which I have fallen for. I'll admit it, I've fallen for these ones. They are dating and romance scams, right? If the Coronacast was doing a dating and romance scam, all I would do is, over the course of the past 140 episodes, I would have somehow established my loneliness. Perhaps consistently saying that, oh, I'm alone, I wish I wasn't alone, oh, I'm lonely, oh, I'm horny, constantly harping. Then I would slide into your DMs, and by this time I would have established what your job is. So if one of my fans I'd figured out is the heiress of some fortune or a multimillionaire, this is the moment when I slide into their DMs and say, hey, start chatting to them, flirting with them, and then say, let me come see you, send me some money so that I come to see you, and then I am never seen from again. This is the dating and romance scam, and I have fallen for this one many times. There are many different ones. Okay, the most common one, I don't know if this exists with women, right? But for men, if you're using dating apps, a lot of the women in the dating apps are not real women, right? A lot of the women who you match with in dating apps are either bots or people trying to extract money from you, right? So you will be swiping away. You'll get a match with someone really attractive. You'll start chatting back and forth, whatever. Everything seems great. And then suddenly they will say, oh, this is great. They often will be in the next city, or maybe they'll be in London. It might not even be a huge amount of money. They'll be like, oh, I want to come see you in your city. Just send me some money to buy a train ticket. That's the small version. Bigger version is, hi, I am in Czechoslovakia. Send me some money for a plane ticket, or so on and so forth. And I have fallen for this. Now, I've fallen for this usually when it's Tinder. I'll see that it's a fake person, and I will just be like, oh, well, I'll keep trying to find a real person. But I'm going to tell you a story which I've never told, but two other comedians know about this story, of the time when I actually was properly scammed. Okay, I was in a foreign country. Let's not say which country this is, because on the odd chance that these scammers still keep track of me, I'd rather they don't know. I was in a foreign country doing some comedy. I was lonely, as established. And when in a foreign country and you're lonely, sometimes you go on a dating app. I was on a dating app, swiping away, and I clicked with a very hot woman. And I was like, game on, come over, did a little bit of chatting, and then I said, come watch the show. Like that's the move, right? They come see you perform. You're hilarious. Makes everything easier. But this lady shows up at the gig. So she's a real person, and she's just as attractive as she is in the app. And I'm like, oh, this is great. There was a comedian, George Zach, very funny comedian, who was there. I was like, how did you get her to come? Oh my God, she's so hot. We were all backstage celebrating, right? So on and so forth. Take her back to the hotel. everything's going fine, and then she says, "What are you going to give me?" And I'm like, I think this is dirty talk. I was like, I'm gonna give you a good time, girl. No, no, no. What you gonna give me? Like, well, what you want? I'm flexible. I can do different. What are you gonna give me? And it becomes clear that she is implying that I am going to pay her. And I'm like, yo, you got the wrong idea. This was Tinder. I was on Tinder. I was not in the yellow pages. I was not in the I don't know, prostitute ordering app. If there is there an app?
Yep.
Oh, Chelsea, I don't want to know why you know this. Now I realize why Chelsea always seems to have a little bit of extra money. Okay, well, let's keep going. So I was not on the prostitute ordering app, and I was like, what's going on? I'm not going to give you money. I'm sorry, this was a misunderstanding. I thought we were flirting. You came to my comedy show. I don't think a prostitute would do that. They would just show up, right? Also, you know, she, not to judge, but I mean, she wasn't wearing like slutty clothing. I'm just saying, she didn't seem like a prostitute. Not like you are required to wear a particular uniform if that is your choice in life. I'm not against prostitutes. It's just in that moment I had not tried to order one. She says you have to pay, right? If you don't pay, we're gonna get you, right? And I chase her out, and then this is where it got me. I'm like, screw you, I'm not gonna pay you anything. And then I started getting very scary messages. Now, this is where I ended up having a consultation with two comedians. One of them was Dana Alexander, who's a very funny comedian from Canada, and George Zach, right? Is George Greek?
I don't know.
I think he's Greek. I'll be very guilty. Zach, Opolis is always Greek. Yes, anyway, yes. So George Zach and Dana Alexander, very funny comedians. You got to check them out. But what was really funny is we're in the green room looking at these threats I'm getting from the pimp, right? And the crazy thing about the threats is they used an image. They were very clever. They used an image of a sheikh. It was a bunch of sheikhs sitting out in these white dish dashes. And it was very scary because they were saying all kinds of threatening things, and they even left a voicemail. I didn't listen to the voicemail because the comedy club was... And what was really funny was George was saying, dude, just pay him, right? Just pay them. It's not a lot of money they're asking for. I don't want them to come to our shows. They'll try to kill you. They'll kill me by accident. No, pay these people. And on the other side, Dana was like, ignore these idiots. It's a stupid ass scam. Ignore these idiots. And they're like, she's waiting outside until you pay her. And I've got these two people saying, do it, don't do it, do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I was like, look, these guys, we don't know their country. We don't know if in this country there's like an implied agreement if you say, hey, come over for a date. So I went and I paid this woman some money, and then she left. And I wish I had it, because when I got home, I listened to the voicemail, and it was like this Nigerian guy talking, right, and trying to sound threatening. And it was just one of those things, like, it wasn't this sheikh in the image. And look, okay, maybe it's racist, but honestly, I would not have bought the scam if I had heard this guy, because part of it was I was in this country and I felt like, oh no, I'm a foreigner, but it's another foreigner. I was like, oh shit. Anyway, that was the time when I was scammed, and it was actually scary. It's funny now, but it was actually scary. I was scared. George was more scared, right? George was making me think they are gonna chop you in half. They've slit. I don't know what if he'd been watching like some Netflix drama, but there was so much fear that I just paid them off. And sometimes it was a small enough money that maybe that was the wisest thing to do. If it's a huge amount of money, you stick your guns. But when it's a small amount of money comparatively, maybe it's better to just pay them. But that, my friends, is the time when I got scammed. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Let's see what you've got to say in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you think that when I get to 25 patrons, I should do a quick vid of a joke with me topless or some kind of incentives like that. Sean Alexander, I think you are mistaking what is hidden underneath this sweater. You do not want to see this topless. If anything, that will make me lose patrons, not gain patrons. But I appreciate the thought, Sean. Okay, let's keep going. Sarah Hall, I already did slide into your DMs. Okay. Oh, Logan Scene actually was scammed. I lost this. This is from Logan Scene. Says I lost a phone through a scam because the guy telling me that he needs to put a sticker on the back of my phone for some promotion, and then he went around the corner and the phone was gone. Wow, that is pretty sly. He's like, oh, we got. Yeah, don't give your phone to randoms. That is hardcore. What else has happened? What else has happened? Uh, let's see what's going. Yes, I agree with you, Sarah. Chelsea seems to know a lot about this stuff. Next up, hi from India.
I've been broke, okay?
You've been broke. Hey, girls got to pay the bills, whatever way works. Okay. Then Anbu Leo, hi from India. Hi from India.
Namaste.
Namaste to you, says Chelsea. Okay, let's keep going. Yes, he is Greek, says Tricky Fun. He's a very funny comedian, is he not, George Zach? I will shout you out, Sayed Kandul. Good to have you in the house. Sam Mark says, I'd pay. I pay too. I think there's that thing in my head. I'm like, I would never pay. If it was something like $1,000, I wouldn't do it. But if this is a whole thing, like you know that person who tried to scam you, his mistake was saying 5,000. That will immediately make you think this is bull. But if it had been something small like, oh, you are Deliso's #1 fan, you are going to get £100 in vouchers to comedy clubs, that's very believable. And that's how you scam people. Thankfully, often the scammers think too big. So again, this person in this country asked for a small enough amount that it didn't hurt that much because I had British pounds. So to give them that, it was something like £50. But still, it still hurt to lose because you know you've been scammed. Okay, next, let's keep going. Hi from South Africa. Hello, hello, hello. Sam Mark says, Delisa should have an OnlyFans. People, what's going on? That you don't... I will not dignify these lecherous fans. Okay, let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen, to the next subcategory. Next subcategory we go on, which is... Oh, this is actually a subcategory, two things which are like romantic scams. Is I've always thought the very common scam, of course, is penis enlargement. I know you all have this in your inboxes. If you have Gmail, it's definitely in your inboxes. If you have it way before things like Hotmail, all of your emails were all about penis enlargements and things like that. And it's all about... The problem with the penis enlargement one is, shouldn't it be the second email? Because imagine you take the penis enlargement scheme, but you haven't got the... What use is a big penis if you can't pick up? That's my point. It needs to come in a pair with the learn how to pick up girls. Because otherwise you've got a giant monster penis, but you've got no game. All the women are walking away. What a waste of your giant monster penis. Exactly, right?
All this dick and nowhere to put it.
All this dick and nowhere to put it. I think that will be the title of my autobiography. I love it. Okay, and then so often they would target men with penis enlargement pills, which are entirely fake. You pay money, you get a bunch of placebos or worse, like salt pills or something like that. Does nothing. And then on the flip side, women get diet pills. They target women with diet pills. But I actually thought about the women's one, and it's not as much of a scam as a male one, right? Because think of it this way. If you get sucked in by the diet pill scam and you spend all your money on diet pills, you won't have any money to buy food. So you will lose weight. So maybe it is not actually a scam. Okay. Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen, to another very... Oh, I've not been doing the images. Okay. That was meant to be the image for the romantic scam. Do you see that? Yeah. Two people in love by the water, right? And then that was meant to be the image for penis enlargement. I love this ad. How to enlarge your penis and increase your length and girth naturally without drugs or surgery. And this guy named himself, well, Steve Powers, because he's powerful. Okay, and we keep going. That was the diet pills image. Oh, and here we go. Hacking. Hacking, of course, is the classic where people hack into your computer, they get your information, they use your computer for nefarious things. Only thing I would say is the pop culture representation of hacking is always wrong. Hacking is not exciting. Hacking is usually someone in a basement which stinks, typing very slow, not very sexy at all. I point to you the poster to hackers, right? If you are a hacker, right, Angelina Jolie is not going to sleep with you. I don't know if you remember Hackers, this movie. Hacking was done, like, I was amazed. They just move their hands like this. They're not actually typing letters. So it's like wizardry. They move their hands all over the keyboard and magically things happen. There's sexy music in the background and Angelina Jolie takes off her clothing for you. So anyway, let's keep going. Oh, but there are times though. Oh, before I get to that, let's see what people are saying. I should have won AGT. I should have won America's Got Talent. Syed Kando, I think so. I think so too. I didn't do America's Got Talent, but I still think I should have won. I did Britain's Got Talent. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy that comedy. Here we go. Hello from New Zealand. Hello to you too. Okay, we keep going to the fact that there are some people who say that if you fall for a scam, sometimes you deserve it because you are an idiot, right? And people have said that falling for certain scams is an idiot tax, right? So, for example, if you get scammed by something on the internet and you call your bank, sometimes they hesitate to refund you your money because they think you're an idiot. I don't think this is very fair because there's a very sliding scale and there's different kinds of intelligence. There are things where you might be the best, cleverest person, good at logarithms, good at equations, but you're not street smart. So I never think of it as an idiot task. However, I do think that there are some things that I consider harmless scams, right? Alex Haley wrote a biography called Roots about slavery based on history which he had unearthed about his ancestors. It came out later that he made up a lot of it. And people got very angry. But to me, one, it's harmless. Two, it's still based on real things that happened. Maybe, yes, there was no Kunta Kinte directly related to him, but I think it's entirely harmless that in order to get a little publicity, he pretended it was based on something that he had found in a history book, not based on his imagination. This has happened many times. There was James Frey. James Frey wrote a million little pieces in 2003, and it was sold as a memoir. It got very, very popular. And then later, when people found out that some of the events in the book never happened, they got very angry. He had to issue an apology. I don't understand why. People got their entertainment. Who cares that you were tricked into the fact that it was real? More on that later. Because I actually think, and this is what we're going to end the show on. Now, before I end the show, let me tell you what's happening. So, this is a complete episode of the Coronacast comedy show. I was initially going to have them and put some of them on the Patreon, and then I realized that wasn't necessarily fair for a lot of my fans. So what I've done is today there is an extra 10 minutes of bonus features on the Patreon. So if you join patreon.com/Deliso for the smallest amount is £1 and the most is £20, depending on how much of a fan you are. You can join. The At any tier, you will get access to an extra 10 minutes of jokes and discussion of my favorite fraudsters, right? So you can go to patreon.com/DelisaChapanda. Now, I want everybody to enjoy the show. So if you're someone who hasn't got a lot of money and you still want access to that and you can't spare a pound, you still get it. All you need to do is email Daliso, Daliso, at gmail.com and say, hey, I'm a big fan, I want the extra features, and I will send you a link, but please don't share it because I want most people to get it by becoming Patreons. But anyway, to end the show, right, before I do my final thought, let me take a look at the chat. Hello in New Zealand to you, Azender. Good to have you in the house. I always say this when I meet people who are in New Zealand. I hate to say this, but your leader, your prime minister, she kind of pisses me off. Yeah, she does. Because she sounds so sensible. She sounds so eloquent. She sounds so in control. Do you know what we're dealing with over here? Every single time I turn on the television and see Jacinda Ardern talking, it's like if you are in a bad marriage and then you go visit people who are in a good marriage, it feels terrible. That's what it feels like watching Jacinda Ardern while Boris is talking whatever nonsense. It's so frustrating. But anytime I want to cheer myself up, I just change the channel to CNN, see what's going on in America, and I feel better again. Okay, so let's go, ladies and gentlemen, to my final thought, ladies and gentlemen, is this, right? There are some lies, and there are some scams where perhaps it's just as well to fall for it, right? Because if you think about it, there are a lot of lies that give our lives a meaning, right? If you are married to a gold digger, right, who only married you for your money, and you are 75 and she's just waiting till you're 78 and you die. If you don't know, if you choose to fall for the scam, you can have 3 years of joy with someone pretending they love you. What's the difference between the pretense of love and actual love, right? Let's say you follow a religion which turns out to be false, right? Like maybe there is a Zeus, but maybe there isn't a Zeus. Does that invalidate everybody whose lives gain meaning by worshiping Zeus? No. I say sometimes we all choose which lies to believe, which lies to define ourselves, right? It may be love of a country which does not care about you. People are patriotic with a nation state which does not care about them, doesn't spend any pennies of them, but it gives their life meaning. What is so bad about that? Some scams are good to join. And my final thought is this. If you join a cult, consider joining a cult. There are some pros. If you ever come across a cult, join the cult. Cults are cool. However, you have to pick the right exit point. So you need to join the cult and stay in the cult for all the group sex, but you have to leave the cult before the mass suicide, okay? That is the sweet spot which you are trying to hit. After group sex, because group sex is quite hard to achieve if you're not in a cult. I tried. It's difficult, right? I invited like a bunch of people to my flat, gave them cups of coffee, tea, I baked a cake. Then I said, let's have sex. They said, hell no. You know how bad it feels to be rejected by one person? Imagine 32. They were so angry they expelled me from the Bible study group. Okay? If you want group sex, join a cult, but leave it before the suicide. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, I will not be here. Let me just double check. Yes, tomorrow I am doing a gig in Leeds. So there will not be a Coronacast comedy show, and it will be back on Monday. And anybody who joins the patreon.com/DelisaChapanda, there's an extra 10 minutes of discussion. I don't know if it's all gags. It's like this. An extra 10 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. It's been Delisa Chapanda. and have a very wonderful evening. Good